So to start with us today is Jamie Wagner, Community Relations Project Manager at OPPD, Jackie Roberti, with Human Resources Manager at Werner Enterprises, Jill Adkins, Community Engagement Manager at Fusion Medical Staffing, Jessica Stroman is Community Relations Manager from Farm Credit Services of America, and Carrie Weber is with us she is the AVP of Corporate Communications and Public Relations with Physicians Mutual. So a quick hand. Yay. So we were curious about corporate volunteer engagement strategies and their opportunity, the corporation's opportunities to lend their hands to the efforts of our community organizations. So what do they care about? How are they going to get it done? What do they need from us? What do we really want from them? What are all the ins and outs? Candy and I and our advisory committee created a list of a series of questions that we want to have everybody touch on today to give you an overview of their corporate engagement programs. Okay? And then we're going to hope for a few minutes at the end so that we can ask our questions, like, why won't you clean out the back trap that's in the kitchen? So let's get ourselves started. Let's roll our sleeves up. Let's see what we can learn today. Let's welcome our guest, and we will get started with you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, thank you all for being here, and thank you for letting us come, me in particular. This is just a room full of people who get stuff done and are often unsung heroes. I think we've all been in those roles before, those events before, so thanks for all you do. My name is Jamie Wagner. I am a Community Relations Project Manager at OPPD. I'll give you a little tiny information about OPPD. Some of it you may know, some of it you may not. So when I talk about how we align strategically from a volunteerism perspective, I think it makes more sense. So we were founded in 1946, just celebrated our 75th anniversary not too long ago, and we're the 12th largest public power utility. And public power means something to us. Nebraska is the only all-public power state, and that definitely affects our initiatives and our mission, and it's part of what makes us not totally a not-for-profit, but not a for-profit either. When we get your money for your electricity bill, that goes back into the utility to keep your rates low and to maintain the utility. So I say that because it's very important to us. It's very important to us to serve the community. We have about 1,900 employees, almost 400,000 customers, and that's about 853,000 individuals in our district. So we span about 13 counties, and I say that because we focus a lot on the Omaha metro, but we go up to Burke County and all the way down south to the Kansas border, and a lot of folks don't know that. And so we'll spend a lot of time and energy in the Omaha metro because it makes sense, because that's where there is the bulk of our employees and our customers. But we do try to spread the love to our rural communities because we love them just as well. That's about 5,000 square miles and about 16,000 miles of electric line, just in case you wanted to know. Useless trivia. Our mission is to provide affordable, reliable, and environmentally sensitive energy services to our customers. It's a three-pronged approach. They're all important, and it's very important to us that those three items are hit upon every day, so that when you turn your light switch on, when you charge your phone, so when you hook up a microphone to a laptop that's live streaming or recording, that all of that works, and we're proud to do that. We have 3 core values, and so if you ever see us volunteering in those bright orange shirts that all of our employees don't love, some people don't look good in orange, I don't know, I think everyone looks good in orange, but our previous CEO, Tim Burke, was passionate about this, as is our current CEO, Javier Fernandez. He wanted that type font to be big and bold, so that from wherever you were, you could see it, and it makes a great photo op for PR purposes. But we have a passion to serve, we honor our community, and we care about each other. And it's not lip service. I can honestly say that from the core of my heart. We have some amazing individuals who I would love to put into your resources where you need them. So I'm glad we're doing this. We have 3 focus areas I've been doing a lot with threes. It's been a magic number, I guess. We have 3 focus areas in our outreach kind of repertoire. And so we found that, but before I was even hired, my manager, Lori Zagurski, did a ton of research. She talked to a lot of you, she talked to our customers, she talked to our utility partners, she talked to others in the industry, try to figure out what makes sense when OPPD volunteers, because we're your utility, we are public servants. So what we do needs to make sense to you. And it has to follow certain guidelines that if we were private, we wouldn't be as worried about. And so we wanted to make sure that focus aligned with our strategy for a number of reasons, just because you're all very smart people, so it made sense. But also, it allowed us to be more consistent, because sometimes we have to say no, and we don't want to say no, but we have to sometimes. We don't have deep pockets, but we have a deep bench, and we know that there's other things we can do, so when we do partner financially, we want to make sure we do it in the right ways. And so those 3 outreach areas are education, basic needs, and community and environmental betterment. And for education, it could be anything from mentoring. I know a lot of you out there do that. Go teammates. I love all of your mentor organizations. I happen to be a teammate though. Anything focused on career development. If we can get kids excited about careers in STEM, or just workforce and trade development for adults as well as kids, we're all for that, especially girls. I know we're primarily female in here. We need to get more girls involved in STEM. Basic needs is just what it sounds like. We have an energy assistance program that I'll talk a little bit about. You guys can give to that in your monthly bill. We do some fundraising for it, but it also means helping out at soup kitchens and food banks and anything that would be considered basic needs. And this is where one of our core partners, and my buddy Garrett's here from Habitat, we can kind of, a lot of these things will parlay a couple of different outreach lanes. So basic needs could be an organization like Habitat, or it could be our 3rd prong, which is community and environmental betterment. So I mentioned environmental sensitivity is important to us, and it sure is. We're going to be net zero carbon by 2050, if not sooner, because we do believe that we can provide you power, and we can do so in a way that's going to help our planet, our climate. But environmental and community environmental betterment can also be neighborhood cleanups or doing things that help, neighborhood cleanups. 3 minutes? Are you serious? Okay, I'll talk fast. So we partner with Habitat, and this is one of my favorite things. I started at OPPD in 2018. We sat down with some of Garrett's predecessors and said, how can we get more bang for our buck? Like, how can we help you, but help us more? We were dabbling in some home builds and volunteering at the Restore, and they said, well, we have these things called Rock the Block. And long story short, we figured out we could get some skills-based volunteerism, where we have some people who are very skilled with their hands, and then we could also get some project management skills for some project leads that help Habitat, who, like many of you, is a very lean organization. So on the day when we descend upon a neighborhood and that sea of orange shirts comes in, I have 60, 80, sometimes 100 people helping beautify one stretch of a street. Habitat gets more workforce, we get more employees, and it was this whole thing, and we've done it twice in 2019. Took a little break during 2020, you might be familiar, and then we came back last year and we did 2, and we're doing 3 this year, and just helping to transform our neighborhoods one block at a time. And I would love to talk more about that because it's fantastic. We don't donate, but we do sponsorships. So if you ask us for money and it makes sense, we would love to help you. We just need a little reciprocity. Being a public utility, we're a political subdivision of the state, and so we have to have our marketing, our branding on something like a brochure, website, whatever the case may be. We have our energy assistance program where we do a lot of our own fundraising, and we do some stuff for that, like our Heat the Streets Walk for Warmth in partnership with MUD and our Swigert Golf outing. But our volunteer opportunities run the gamut. Weekdays, weekends, all kinds of stuff. I've got field workers who can build amazing things and mend fences and build decks, and then I've got people who are really skilled with computers who might help you more on the kind of like the skills-based side with some technical assistance, and just about everybody in between. It's something that I wasn't really thinking of when I started at OPPD, but it's not just line workers, there's so much more, so please take advantage of us. We thrive when our community thrives, and we're all better for it. We don't have a volunteer management tool per se, so your main way of contacting us is going through me and one of my colleagues, and I'm sure we'll all be sharing information. I've got cards, but just please don't hesitate to reach out. We pay attention to Share Omaha's website, United Way, and all of the other resources where you guys are doing good work. We would love to help you do what you do. So, thank you.
That's a tough act to follow. My name is Jackie Roberti, and I'm from Warner Enterprises. And thanks everybody for coming this morning. Good morning. Warner Enterprises is a transportation company, close to 10,000 employees across the United States and Mexico. We have a volunteer group called the Blue Brigade. I don't know if y'all know, but we used to have blue trailers, and we were known for those. Well, unfortunately, when you try to resell blue trailers, it's kind of difficult. Nobody wants to buy those. So we now have white trailers, but pretty much everything else is blue. Our trucks are blue. Our Blue Brigade shirts are blue. And the Blue Brigade started in 2011, came from an idea from our now chairman and CEO, Derek Leathers. Started here in Omaha with a very small group, has now blown up through all of our network across the United States and in Mexico. They're in our terminals. They are now in our dedicated sites, our logistics sites, through our subsidiaries. So we have over, last time I counted, over 25 chapters throughout our network. Last year we did over 1,800 hours of volunteerism, which is really exciting. As you said, we did have quite a dip in 2020 and 2021 in our hours, so we're glad to be up and running and going strong, and we're just happy to get out in our communities and do work. We'll pretty much do anything when it comes to volunteerism. The only things we won't do, we won't directly solicit money for any other organization, so no direct, we won't go door to door, we won't do cold calling, and of course we won't do anything that would put our volunteers in any sort of risk, so no roadside cleanup that's like right next to the interstate or anything like that. We wouldn't go into someone's house unaccompanied by, we'll, for the Red Cross, we go in and install fire alarms, but there's someone with us. We always have to be chaperoned. But other than that, we'll pretty much do anything. And we like to ask our employees, what do you want to do? What nonprofits are you passionate about? And we try to fit, there's some associates that can't volunteer on the weekends or can't volunteer at night, or, we try to do things at our facilities so that they can volunteer during the day at work. And we just launched a VTO program at Warner, which is really exciting. We can do 4-hour shifts, we can do 8-hour shifts. We have small volunteer groups to large volunteer groups. So we just try to make it work for all of our nonprofits throughout the network that we serve. And really we're open to pretty much anything. We've done some pretty creative things. And we love Share Omaha. We visit there quite often. We do have a pretty large steering committee throughout our network, so it's not just me, thank goodness, that plans things. So I have a pretty large group behind me that helps to plan our events. We just love getting out there. We do partner with the United Way a lot. They have a very robust volunteer portal on their site. We partner with all the United Ways across the United States as well. So yeah, you can get a hold of me. You can reach out to bluebrigade@werner.com. You could go onto the werner.com website. there's a link there that you can get a hold of us at. But pretty much, yeah, just let us know what you want, and we'll try to make it work. Trying to think of how many volunteers. I just counted, actually. There are probably over, I want to say, 1,200 active volunteers across the United States. Our Mexico volunteers have just gotten started, still kind of behind the ball because of COVID. They just don't have the same access to the vaccinations as we do. So they're just getting started, and they're very happy to be back out there. So let's see, what else am I supposed to talk about? Let's see. I think I pretty much hit everything. So we're kind of in regards to I know that some of the bigger companies here in Omaha, their volunteer groups have been around for quite a long time. Ours, like I said, started in 2011, so we're always open to new ideas, new ways of doing things. We talked about, you know, portals that we could use or tools that we could use to track. We don't have any of those. We have some handy dandy spreadsheets. And so I would love to hear what you come up with as far as testing out some of those tools. Because spreadsheets, I mean, they're great, but we all know how cumbersome they can be sometimes. So that's all I really have, so I can go ahead and pass, and we can hear what you've got.
Thanks, Jackie. Who doesn't love a spreadsheet? I know. Again, I'm Jill Atkins with Fusion Medical Staffing. Does anybody here know what a medical staffing agency does or doesn't do? Because I didn't when I first started. And if you haven't heard, we are one of like a gazillion in Omaha. So if you'd like to pick my brain later of what I've learned in the last 3 months of what a medical staffing agency is and what we do, feel free to hit me up after we're done here. Fusion Medical Staffing, like many startups, was started in the basement of somebody's home back in 2009. So I would consider us still very much a startup. We've doubled in our Omaha corporate staff size in the last couple of years. So in Omaha, and we are Omaha based and owned, we have just over 700 employees. So our volunteer groups, if you will, are all of us. And we're pretty small compared to some of the other companies sitting here today. Not unlike Werner, we'll do anything. We are a very adventurous group. We are a very giving group. And we don't mind the risk. So we'll go clean that hood underneath your kitchen. We'll go to the interstate. Like, we don't mind. We're out there to serve. So under that title, we'll do anything. Unlike all of you, we all have our core purposes and our values. At Fusion, we live by humble, driven, and positive. You won't see us on social media. You probably won't see our brand too many places. That's not what's important to us. What's important to us is what drives our staff, what drives our revenue, and staying positive while we're doing it. And I can't really even express the positive intent that comes every day at work. It's not about what you look like or what you do. I work with the most incredibly smart people. Everybody is there to support each other, which is a really fabulous environment to be in. So much so that you have myself as community engagement, so out here talking with all of you. I have a colleague who is primarily focused on employee engagement. So we have the best of both worlds. So we get to mirror each other, we get to cross over, we get to create all kinds of wonderful things that our staff want and that our community needs. So under the title of Reach Out, myself, anybody at Fusion, get to a staff member. They're gonna run it up and it's gonna hit one of us. That's where 90% of all of our giving and volunteering comes from. We're the ones that are generating income for the company. We want to do and support what they want to do and support, which I think is unique. Let's see, what else are we supposed to talk about? Oh, primary focuses. So, as I said, we're young, so we'll do anything. We've done everything. We'll support lots of things. We'd like to start catering to the healthcare facilities or environments. So things that causes of diseases, human effects, those types of causes we really want to try to focus on. Right now, we're doing everything and anything, which is great. We know eventually it's not sustainable, so we will have to figure this out. Right now, we have the immense flexibility to say yes to lots of things. We don't have deep pockets either. I mean, we have budgets. But again, if you get to the right people at the right time, we like to say yes. Right now, as far as when we volunteer, we have this really interesting program called Honor PTO. Do we have any CFOs in here or previous CFOs? So Honor PTO is this radical idea based on trust. We trust that you're going to get your work done, that you're going to have coverage, and we want you to take as much time off as possible. We're not going to track it, we're not going to call you, we're not going to email you, and that flows over into anything that we do in the community, any volunteering that we support or that we organize or that you do on your own. So we're very unique in that sense, which just creates opportunities for our teams and our divisions and our departments to do what's best for them during their workday or throughout their calendar year. Yeah, it's really interesting, and it's really beneficial from a culture perspective. So we're really fortunate to have that. As I mentioned earlier, as far as philanthropy and branding and sponsorships go, it's all important. What we really want to focus on is how our people and our money can make the greatest impact. So I joined Fusion in January, and what I learned is, again, the branding's not important, the sponsorships aren't important to have that brand out there. Mind you, we want to be a top 10 medical staffing agency in the nation, and we will be by 2025, but it's not going to be because our brand is associated with A, B, and C things. We are really doing the work to place medical professionals in facilities where they need to be to serve those patients. That's why we'll be that top 10 company in the nation. When it comes to how we give back financially, we do some really interesting events and very high quality events where we are the host for your nonprofit. We create this very co-branded employee engagement nonprofit event. And what that's allowed us to do is really involve all of our staff in an event that's sponsoring families, that's sponsoring people, and then the company is doing whatever matching that they decided they want to do. But it's really created this really unique case study about what does it look like to do the work. So all of you do galas. I sit on a nonprofit board for my school district. We host a golf tournament. They're a lot of work and a lot of begging for time and money and attention. And so I'm really excited to see this year play out, to see all the impact that we have with our partners, money raised, people's lives changed, and what that looks like at scale for multiple other companies and organizations that we work with. We obviously can't do everything, and we do say no, but we don't like to. We love ideas, like call me, reach out. Let's talk about some fun things that we can do in the Jomaha community. I would say the biggest challenge is that there's only 12 months in a year, and so business has to happen. So we're always very cognizant of what's going on in our business before we commit to doing things, because we're all pulling from the same staff. So there might be a book club happening, there might be a golf tournament happening, there might be business meetings that are happening, and so we're really aware of what that calendar looks like so that we're not overbooking our staff to show up at 3 different places on the same day at the same time, which I think we've all seen happen before. We'll volunteer during the working days. We all have families, we all have lives, we all like to have fun. So we are good Monday through Friday during normal business hours to come and work for and serve with all of you. So I think that's all. I'll pass it off to you.
Hi, I'm Jess Stroman with Farm Credit Services of America. I'm one of the community relations managers there. So our company is a ag lender We're located here in Omaha, but we do have outreach into 5 different states: Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, and the eastern third of Kansas. And we have about 850 employees here in Omaha. So when our program was first started about 10 years ago, the focus was really meant to support our communities through our giving pillars, as well as encouraging our own teammates to get out and to do the work within our communities. We offer a couple different ways that our teammates can give back and that we're able to give back to the community. Obviously volunteering, that we're here to talk about, but also our grant program, our matching program, board service, and some other programs we do within our communities. Our 3 main areas of giving are focused, obviously as an ag lender, on ag education, hungry nutrition, and then rural disaster relief essential services. And how those are defined is ag education. We focus a lot on 4-H, FFA, urban ag curriculum courses, that type of stuff. And then our hungry nutrition, the focus there is kind of threefold. It's serving the immediate need and working with food pantries, backpack programs, distribution, that type of stuff. Food rescue, and working with the food rescue and then redistributing the food, and then breaking the hunger cycle. And that's focused on education tools and giving the resources that needed to help break that hunger cycle. And then our rural disaster relief essential services, we define that as life or death. I know sometimes essential services can be defined differently, so we work a lot with our rural fire departments. We provide rescue equipment, and then support during natural disasters as well in our communities. So those are our 3 main areas of giving, and all of our giving is really circled around those 3 areas. But our volunteer program is set up a little bit differently in the fact that we want our teammates to be able to volunteer where their passions lie. So there are some guidelines, of course, but we want them to follow their passions, volunteer with organizations they are passionate about and that they care about. So there is that exception there. Our volunteer program is set up with a couple different ways. We have individual volunteering. So our teammates can go out and volunteer on their own. They can go volunteer to give blood, serve on a board. They can volunteer with their family members because they're not with teammates. It wouldn't be considered group. And they can log that time as individual volunteer hours. And then we also have group volunteering. And with group volunteering, it's a minimum of 3 teammates will go out together. And they can volunteer in any number. We can have a group of 3, a group of 25, a group of 10, it doesn't matter. We want to serve, the need that you have. You may only need, 3 people, you may need 1, you may need 25 every time we come. So there's different levels, and we understand that, so there isn't a limit on the number that can go. We also have different size groups within our company that come and ask us for volunteer opportunities. We have teams that like to volunteer as one of their outings throughout the year. We have groups that come in for meetings that they're looking to do some volunteer work while they're here together. And so we're also looking for different size opportunities throughout the year. So if you have groups, different types of volunteer opportunities, and these groups, they may only have an hour or 2, so it doesn't have to be a 4-hour activity. It can be an hour if that's what you need. It can be 4 hours if that's what you need. Let us know. But in addition to that, our teammates do oftentimes look for volunteer opportunities on site too. So I don't know, I know that's a little bit more difficult, but we have been able to make that work a couple times. We have been able to label some packaging stuff. We've been doing packing events on site. We have also been able to make just cards, like kindness cards that we put in backpacks for the food programs. And those are great ways to get a big group of people together. We can knock out a whole bunch of stuff for you guys. And we also have teammates that aren't able to leave their desk due to their job duties, so that helps us there too, to be able to share those opportunities with them. Along with volunteering in person, which obviously going to the nonprofit or meeting you wherever you need us and doing the physical volunteering with you, we also encourage teammates to do skills-based volunteering. I know you guys talked about that a little bit. We have, I would say out of our 800 people in our office, probably 300 at least are technology teammates. So we have teams that will also help out with rebuilding websites, helping with updating systems. Again, they're not always able to leave their desk, but they're able to do that. It can be in the form of individual volunteering. It can be in the form of group volunteering. It just depends on what your needs are. Proofreading, that's another great way that we can help. Anything that you need that's skills-based, reach out to us. We're happy to share those opportunities. And the other thing we do is we offer a virtual volunteer opportunity, and that's where we bring in a nonprofit about once a month, and we ask them to get on a Zoom call, talk about what they do, talk about who they serve, tell us a little bit about the organization and what and how you serve the community. And then how can our teammates get involved? This is a chance for our teammates to learn a little bit more about different nonprofits, to kind of encourage them to look outside for other opportunities. And then when they're ready to do volunteer work, we hope that they will call you. That's kind of the ultimate goal. In addition to that, we talked about times that people can volunteer. Our teammates can volunteer anytime. Obviously, it's going to be easiest to get people during the work week, during work hours. But we encourage teammates to volunteer on weekends and at night too, because we understand there's a need there as well. We also, when Farm Credit teammates come to work, we're very competitive, you guys, we have issues. You can ask over here. We like to beat the group ahead of us if it's a packaging type of thing, so put us to work. We will do whatever. We will clean floors, we will sweep the floors, fill the shelves, do the repacking, whatever it is you need. We have teammates, and some people want to volunteer in different ways. So absolutely, more hands-on, maybe more behind the scenes. We're looking for all opportunities. And then when we do this, we also, this program came together 10 years ago, our teammates told us they want to do the work. They don't just want to write checks. So we will have our teammates volunteer, and then we will make a donation on behalf of the time they were there. So as an individual volunteer, we'll donate based on the number of hours they volunteer up to a set amount, and then as groups, we'll do different tiers based on the number of volunteers that are there. And that's to help give back to the nonprofits as well as helping. We want to be able to do that too. And every one of our teammates gets 16 hours of volunteer time every year, so there are a lot of volunteer hours sitting at our office, so we just need to get the opportunities to them. I know my time's running short here. So the best way to get ideas to us is to contact myself or Liz Kerrigan. She's our newest community relations manager. Just reach out to us, share the ideas with us. Teammates are empowered to set up their own volunteer events. We do not set everything up, but we do have an internal tool, so we will put those on there. We cannot guarantee we'll fill every spot, obviously, but we will share it. Teams come to us consistently looking for opportunities. If the timing is right, we'll certainly share that with them. And then our internal system, like I said, we can post it out there because that's really their first place they should be looking. And with that tool, if any of you happen to use Volunteer Match, it is already fed by that, so your opportunities may be showing up on there already. And then my last reminder is just, as I said, we are located throughout Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Wyoming, and the eastern third of Kansas. With that in mind, our teammates in those retail offices also look for volunteer opportunities and ask us, and we don't always know what's out there. So I know most of you are located here in Omaha, Kansas area and operate here, but if you have reach outside of this area, please share those opportunities with us as well, because it is good for us to be able to share those with our retail teammates. Thank you.
Thank you again for having us today. So, goodness, what a great panel. I got to wrap it up here, big expectation. But I'm Carrie Weber with Physicians Mutual. I'll start off by saying our volunteer shirts are blue, if you look at our logo up there. I've been pushing for yellow. Yellow is so joyful and wonderful. Again, the good photo op, but there are so many people that feel like they don't look good in yellow. And I'm of the orange persuasion. I feel like everyone looks good in a bright sunny yellow. But so if you see us out there in yellow, please give me a round of applause. It's hard work. But I thought I'd begin by, just detailing who Physicians Mutual is, right? Because a lot of what we do and who we serve plays into our volunteerism, our monetary donations, and the like with our target audience. So we are an insurance company providing health, life, and retirement products. This includes Medicare supplement insurance, dental, life insurance, And most new to the front is pet insurance for cats and dogs. So that's been extremely fun for us. But our primary target audience is what we call transistors. So age 55 plus, those looking to enter retirement. And we want to make sure that their health is covered, healthcare coverage is covered in retirement. So our interest into pet insurance has altered that a little bit, skews a little younger, of course, but we largely serve the retired community. So in teeing up our volunteer efforts and our program at Physicians Mutual, I wanted to touch on our vision, which we really try to largely live by within our walls at Physicians Mutual. So it is empowering people from all walks of life to enjoy the financial security they deserve. And we truly try to live that inside. I mean, you'll hear our CEO say it a lot. We have it up on the wall, we talk about it a lot, and so that's really where we're coming from, and what we're striving for is through our vision. So, we empower our customers through the life, health, and retirement products and security that we offer. We empower our employees through engagement activities such as volunteerism and career advancement opportunities. And together we work to empower our communities through our volunteerism and our donation efforts. So we like to say we have a culture of giving at Physicians Mutual, and not unlike many other companies, it took a while to get there. We have a long history of giving in a variety of areas, and today those specifically include our company volunteer program, our nonprofit board memberships, of which we ask all leadership to be involved in a local nonprofit board, serve on the board, an active member, our sponsorships, our monetary donations from our foundation, and we also do in-kind printing and mailing services through our printing facility that's located in Bellevue. Oh, a small round of applause. Yeah. We love our folks in Bellevue. So what helps to guide our volunteerism and our giving is we have 5 categories of giving. These are health, human services, community development and environment, arts and culture, and education. So just thinking of those in broad sense, that's as much as we could narrow it down. And that's a pretty wide scope, right? I mean, it's good for us to kind of hone our thinking, but then on the outside of that, you can kind of fit most any organization into those categories, and I think that's purposely done because we do like to give, and we like to increase our giving each year in our volunteerism efforts. So specific, yet wide-ranging, I guess, in our categories. And with our target audience of 55 plus, as much as we can mirror some of our giving and our volunteerism within that senior community, even better. I mean, our employees truly love our senior community, and anytime we can have a volunteer opportunity that, of course, matches one of our 5 areas of giving, but is an opportunity with our senior market, our senior community, our employees really love that. So specific to our volunteerism, we launched our company volunteer program 10 years ago. And this gives specifically each of our employees 3 hours per quarter of volunteer time during the workday. So it's been wonderful for engagement, team building, getting people to know people across departments and across the company, let alone the positive impact on the community for sure. So a little bit about how we determine where we volunteer. So it's twofold really. We have a charitable giving committee, which is about 10 to 15 people throughout the organization of varying departments and day-to-day jobs and everything. So we field, the committee fields not only giving and volunteer requests, but we also do site visits. We'll go and visit different nonprofit organizations to really ask questions, get a feel for what they do. We also, when certain invitation and solicitations come in, we invite nonprofits in to speak to the team. We're all about curiosity and learning, and there is so much about our community that we know that we still don't know, right? And so we welcome people in to really learn about what they do, what the need is, the impact that they have. Most recently, as example, our volunteer work with Meals on Wheels. So we schedule employee routes to volunteer and deliver, much needed meals across Omaha and Bellevue. And it's been going strong since COVID really allowed us to get back out and volunteer. I looked up before this, it was December of 2020. Our employees love to volunteer, and 2020 was hard for them, hard for all of us in many ways, but not being able to volunteer. So it was December 2020 when we started volunteering with Meals on Wheels. We knew the need was great. Our employees were up for the task, and we still do that to this day. So hello to Mary Parker, wherever you are back there. Thank you. We love working with you. So we've been working strong with them on filling those delivery roles for, what are we, 2023? I get mixed up. A couple years now. Another example, our employees sign up to volunteer at the Stevens Center. So not necessarily our senior community, but it was a site visit that our charitable giving committee did a couple years ago. So impressed with what they do and the impact that they have. Their chef is fantastic. And so we have, through just a sign up, all of our employees know, and through a sign up, they're able to go and secure doing serving lunch at the Stevens Center as time allows. So there's guide from our charitable giving committee on where we'll volunteer, and then additionally we do a survey to our 1,000 employees each year, and we have a number of nonprofits listed. They can also write in a nonprofit that they would like to volunteer with, and so we're open to that, and then we pick the top 3. And we carve out time first quarter through fourth quarter of where we'll offer up volunteer opportunities. And that's worked really well for us. We, of course, since we entered the pet insurance, the Humane Society is on there every single year, which is great. There's additional training that I think you have to go through for that, but we always hit that one. But that's been a real good, a really nice idea generator for us. And our initial list we take from the Charitable Giving Committee and the meetings that we have and all of our learning that we have. We do also, I just wanted to note have a few internal campaigns as well. We do some fundraising internally. Most of those are really focused on, in the past few years, the Heart Association. So we're strongly involved in the Omaha Council Bluffs Heart and Stroke Walk. We've been involved with them since 2015 for our internal efforts. And then United Way of the Midlands campaign. So this is really our largest internal effort, and goodness, the activities and events and engagement we have, within our walls at Physicians Mutual, let alone the pledge giving and everything. And this year especially, our CEO Rob Reed and his wife Stacy are co-chairing the community campaign, and so we would remain active in that regard. But in short, we always love learning more about our community, and so the need and how we might positively impact. So know that our door is always open. At its root, we are curious, and we want to learn more about the need and the impact that you all are having with so many in our community. So we have a process in place, but please don't think it's an intimidating one. We certainly welcome your requests, and even though we do that survey throughout the year, or once a year, and determine, we're always open to thinking about additional volunteer opportunities. So thank you.
Can we give it up for our speakers again? Thank you so much. Now we'll open up the floor to questions, and pass the mic. You can just raise your hand and we'll run the mic over to you.
We have our first question. Great. Where's our mic? Do I have the only mic that's operating?
This one's still on?
Okay, great. Outstanding job. First question. Go ahead.
I'm wondering, kind of, with your point of you guys take the requests throughout the year, what's a good time frame if we have a large event where we need a large number of volunteers to reach out to you guys for you to get the feedback from your team in advance.
And I know that we have 5 panelists, so when you ask the question, sort of either direct it to one person or corporation, because we don't have a lot of time. Mary didn't introduce herself, but that was Mary Parker. She's on our core team, and I'm Deb Shaw with Partnership for Kids and Mentoring Organization. Just want to throw that out there. We work.
I'll just go real quick.
Yeah.
I would say for myself, 4 weeks.
Okay.
All right.
About a month.
Yeah.
I would say it varies. More for sponsorships, if you're gonna have a big event, we wanna know that as far in advance as possible, just like you all, like for budget planning and things of that nature. And even if it's not gonna be for several months down the road, if we can get a heads up on calendars for things like that. But volunteerism, if it's a field worker, we're gonna ask them to put their time in, like put a time off request for volunteer time off, like they would for any other request. So a couple weeks is sometimes necessary, but we have so many folks who don't do that type of work. They can do it kind of at the drop of a hat sometimes, so it varies.
So time is critical. If you can get the information in advance, the more volunteers you can have available. Next question. Someone, all right, I'm doing everything. I'm Vanna.
Hi, I'm Emily.
We're actually recording, so we want you to speak into the mic, please, and thank you.
Sure, of course. Hi, I'm Emily. I'm with Fontenelle Forest, and thank you all for being here. One of the ways we find it's great to engage with companies like yours is through like a membership drive. I know not every nonprofit in here has a membership model. Is that something any of your companies offer, is to engage your employees through membership in your, through your company as support of nonprofit organizations?
Who's going to be the brave soul?
I'll share about that. Oh, that's fine. Thank you. Can you hear me? Oh, there it goes, green. We do a few different membership drives at Fusion that I've seen. Again, I'm new, but I have seen some, so I think it's a valid question and a campaign for us to look at.
Thank you. Next question. There's an elephant in the room, and there's a question I think that we want to ask these corporations. So if no one wants to ask, I will, since I have the mic. What percentage of your workforce work from home, and how does that affect volunteerism?
Good question.
Boom.
There you go.
Boom. 0%. 0% for us. We are an in-person workforce. It's something that our CEO believes in, and I think primarily due to collaboration, creativity, engagement, and opportunities like volunteerism. We strongly believe in connections amongst ourselves and with our community, and so yeah, we are in person.
That's Physicians Mutual.
And farm credit, we are also back to 100%. We have been for quite a while. And with the way that our volunteer program is set up, although we do have some hybrid opportunities for some teammates, you can still volunteer because it can be individual, it can be small groups. So I don't think that has really impacted us.
So I would probably estimate that 90% of us are in the office at least 3 days a week. But that doesn't affect the culture of our volunteering or other things that we're doing. So people show up when they're asked to.
I think we probably still have 20% here in Omaha that either work from home or a hybrid situation, but I have not seen here in Omaha it affect our volunteering. And most of our across the network I think they're pretty much all in the office. And I don't have any answer to if it's affected their volunteerism because they're all pretty new chapters.
We're still partially at home. There is probably, I would say 30 or 40% of us who went home in March of 2020 and have never gone back. And many of our employees are thrilled about that. It has impacted our work-life balance.
There were some folks who never went home because they're keeping the lights on. So it varies, but for me, before. So it's had an impact, but I don't think a negative one. And I think that there are many of you who are housed throughout the Omaha Metro. So like, let me know where you're located so that we can take advantage of those folks who are now maybe not all reporting to Energy Plaza or one of our centers. And they might be even closer to you now where they are. So keep that in mind, please.
Outstanding. I have a hand, I saw Chris's hand, but you saw, okay, go with the lady behind Chris, and then Chris, you'll be next.
Good morning.
Oh, I know who you are.
Good morning. My name is Vicki Quates-Ferris. I'm with the Empowerment Network. Thank you for being here and thank you for sharing your information. My question is when we get in contact with you, what information are you looking for from us that would be helpful to have that at hand so that, you know, we don't delay any, you know, conversation or anything, but is there anything that you're looking for from us before we contact you so that we can be ready for that? And then also, what's the turnaround time in terms of submitting maybe a request? What does that turnaround time look like for us? Thank you.
For the Blue Brigade, it would just be the name of the event, how many volunteers you need, how long the event will be, is there an age requirement, you know, address, what the duties would be that we would be performing. And then usually we would get back to you within a week, couple days.
Cool. I would just say for us, because our volunteering is ongoing, and you know, we can take information throughout the year. We don't do mass events where we have like 200 people go at a time. Ours are really tend to be smaller groups, so, and all the same information, obviously, the details.
I'd say similar. We have a monthly charitable giving committee meeting, and so it's typically at the end of the month. I guess that can vary, but if that's any guide, but usually we'll get back with you right away. The details we would need is just, you know, all the specifics of the event and whether that's an ask for giving. You know, we had talked about a little bit earlier, what's that kind of lead time, and ours is, you know, ideally a month if it's an event and a giving request, and then again we meet once a month, and so we discuss all of them that have come in, but as many details about the event and as you can supply. Thanks.
And we have,
Hi, Chris Morgan from Millard Public Schools. I oversee 4 mentoring organizations, one of which is Teammates. I see you, Jamie. I see you. My question is, we heard a lot about event volunteerism or sort of one-off volunteerism. For the organizations that I oversee, you know, we are a consistent weekly 30 to 40 minutes type of a program. Is that less attractive to corporations? Is that equally as attractive? Or how is your, you know, agency going to view those types of opportunities different than the sort of one-offs?
anyone you want to start with, Chris?
Let's start with, yeah, here.
Okay. I wouldn't say that it's, you know, more or less attractive in any way. I think because it's personal and because our teammates have individual volunteer time, we do have teammates that participate in different mentoring type programs. So it's a commitment by that teammate. So again, it's sharing the information about the program and the opportunity, and then them making the commitment to do it. But as far as an association, because we offer the individual piece, I don't think that it impacts either way.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think we all have different workforces as well. So I think depending on what department you're in and what your day-to-day roles are, I think those weekly consistent volunteer opportunities work for them. I don't think it works for in every role in every company. Personally, I like, you know, the commitments on a monthly basis or whatever it is that we have teams that show up for. and they look forward to that. It's calendarized. Very rarely do they get over calendared in meetings, and so it's really nice to have.
So for the Blue Brigade, we send out a monthly calendar for every month, and we do reoccurring events. So if they are interested, they would just sign up.
Very cool.
And then this is, I think several mentoring organizations do this well, but it's painting the picture. So I think similar to the question the young lady asked in the back about the expectations and the details, again, I'll speak to teammates. So the employee knows exactly what they're getting into, and then it doesn't change. And your worlds can change, and you can't always plan for that. But if I'm mentoring, I know it's happening based on my schedule and my mentees, but I know the entire school year. I have a calendar of when she's not going to have school, so I know what the commitment is going to be, and then there's that flexibility there that has to be there for my own work and hers, but just setting the expectation and letting them know, like, this is what we're asking of you, and this is what is feasible for variation, but keeping it as consistent and stating what you think it's going to be in advance makes it that much more successful. I feel like that's common sense, but it's worth stating.
Great information from the corporation. Any other question? Of course, I have one last question for the corporation. Oh, where did Mike?
Right here.
You're okay. You're good. The mic is coming.
Thank you.
I'm Erin from Salvation Army, and just a quick question. For those of you who did not name yourselves as a national brand or a multi-state brand, I think probably OPD, Fusion, and Physicians Mutual possibly, are there any limitations to outside of Nebraska? Are you able to serve in Iowa, for example, or South Dakota? Because those are our two other states besides Nebraska we wanted to ask about.
I'll be quick. What we do needs to fall within our service territory. We love our partners outside, but yeah, so for us, it's going to stay within those 13 counties. That's where we'll focus.
If we have a terminal location, a dedicated site, we have logistics offices, roadmasters. We also just acquired some transportation companies. So you would just need to ask, where the location is, and if I could pair you with one of our outside locations.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Perfect.
Anybody else?
We do have division offices across the country, and so it's very determinant on that too. If we have a division office location and we can offer up a volunteer opportunity to them, they're always eager to do that in their local communities. Otherwise, Iowa, of course, within reason, we like to serve over there as well. So yes, thank you.
In thinking about corporations, I want to ask you, this is a yes or no question, in terms of ERG groups, employee resource groups, and are there opportunities for those groups to have volunteer opportunities? So you just go down the line and say, do you offer ERG groups at your corporations? And is that an opportunity for us to reach out to those ERGs and see if it matches what our nonprofits are doing? OPPD.
Yes, or Physicians Mutual, yes. We'll go this way, the microphone's here. But yes, we have a Black Employee Resource Group, Veterans Employee Resource Group, Young Professionals Group, and so, yeah, they're seeking different volunteerism and charitable giving opportunities that run through the giving committee, but in short, yes, absolutely.
Yes, for us as well. We have multiple ERG groups, and they are some of the groups that are looking for volunteer opportunities, and they are some of those groups that are coming together in Omaha for meetings and looking for specific events too.
Yes, for Fusion, we have one large employee-led group. It's about over 100 staff members, and celebrate all of the individual ERGs in one large group, and they would be open to serving the community as a group as well.
Yes, we have at Werner 14 ARGs, yes, and we actually do Blue Brigade and ARG-led volunteer events, as well as their own, which I help them with too. So yeah, there's a lot of volunteering between Blue Brigade and the ARGs, so lots of opportunities there.
And finally, yes, we have about 13 either ERGs or communities of practice. ERGs is more who you are, communities of practice kind of what you do. So if you have a need for someone to like run the numbers and help you see what that is, we have a group that does data. We have our OPD Society of Engineers who think like engineers, not like me. We have women's, African American, Pride, veterans, and my time is up apparently.
Mine too.
They all like to do the things that speak to their affinity group, and they all have community resources chairs. So if there are causes that are near and dear to any one of those, let us know.
Outstanding. Once again, give them a round of applause.